this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill no one.
Wait a second.
No.
We return to our planet. The High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies. We like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings! You're watching SeptumSin versus the world. I'm SeptumSin. He's Kotobuki Jake.
Hey?
And we're here with another pickup. And we're going to show you what we got.
Indeed.
It's been a while since we've run that. I had to run to show them what we got.
Yes.
I mean, it's a bring back to the
I want
old.
to see what you got.
I want us to try and take this year, forget, or at least try and move to a better place mentally about the bad things, and try to revive this channel a little bit, which I've been basically having to ignore because of tragedy, working with Dave. It's basically been one or the above, and it sounds like I'm going to be dealing with more tragedy, but let's hope not.
Yeah.
So, we don't have a huge pickup this time. I'm going to have these in small bursts as we go.
Mm-hmm.
Usually no more than 5 to 7. This time 7. For other reasons. Like giving Jake his birthday gift early.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, I feel like it can be useful.
Okay.
So I guess we'll start with you.
Okay. And well, I guess if you would like to, you could.
Happy birthday.
All right. So what we have here is a portable Blu-ray DVD player, which might have been useful on my recent road trip and may get some use in my upcoming one, which I'm planning a birthday road trip. A lot of that is up in the air and probably will remain so right up until because, we're waiting to see how things play. But this looks very interesting and useful. And on my last road trip, since people, for whatever reason, no longer have built-in drives on computers, my computer needs a portable drive that goes to it. I took movies, I took everything else I intended to go, but I forgot my disk drive. So, this will be a little easier to remember, harder to overlook, could be good.
I get paranoid about the thing recording and dropping, but we're not going to be on that long, so it shouldn't be a deal.
We should be good.
So, I've got a theme. He's usually the one with the themes.
Yeah.
But I've got a theme, and it is Amityville. I have built up lots. If you haven't seen my video where I show off the collection, because I finally recycled it all, which meant that all of those things I needed to do for pickups that were in those boxes for the longest time are finally out of the boxes and available for me to show off.
Okay.
And yes, a lot of Amityville, including one that came in today.
I was going to say, that's a lot of...
So, and I have an Amityville section for my collection. That's how many Amityville films I have. So, let's just start off with one. This is Amityville Bigfoot.
Huh.
I want to say this is a, Cool Duder film.
Okay.
For better or for worse.
Huh.
I keep hearing that Desert Fiends, he's raising money for Desert Fiends too.
Okay.
And it did get a theater play. So
Okay.
it did get play in a theater. So in theory, even though I really don't think that we're going to have a Versus Awards this year, we didn't get enough. We didn't get enough support to really warrant the level of duty.
I just can't get interested in movies right now. It's very disappointing and sad.
I want to do something for that day.
Yeah.
It might be like our top 5 or top 10 films for 2024, which September would give us plenty of time to get that many films watched from 2024.
We should hope.
I've already got that many watched, but I don't know if my top 10 would look all that great.
Yeah.
But Amityville Bigfoot, in the woods of Amityville, a scientist faction whose... Okay, that is lab. Okay. Lab formerly set on cursed grounds of a famous haunted house in the area have done the unthinkable, captured Bigfoot. They conduct bizarre experiments on him. However, he escapes from the Forrest prison lab. On the run and enraged, the creature comes across a low-budget Bigfoot movie production, Hell Hath No Fury, like a monster scorned, as Bigfoot starts picking them off one by one in gory, gruesome fashion.
Ooh.
So, I mean, Cool Duder, the films that I've seen by him, he does try to do some sorts of
Is that by him, or
Yeah.
is he just... Oh, okay.
he directed it, and
Okay.
you know, a lot of those films he usually does horror comedies. It's just, and I admit, maybe it's because I'm still reeling from the horror that was a horror of the Amityville Karen. But we're gonna see. Now, he's got some big names in Desert Fiends, so we'll see if that works out.
Okay.
But this one, you know, well, we're gonna see. We're gonna see, and I will watch it. I will watch every Amityville film I have eventually.
Okay.
Dave and I are planning eventually to do an Amityville thing, much like we did our tabletop horror. Which, by the way, season 1 is done. It's in a playlist. Go check it out. We worked hard on it. After you.
All right. So, speaking of working hard on things, my next bundle is a bundle of things by people that we are in our group, I suppose you could say. We have 3 CDs from our friend Dave, Bridges from Nowhere, parts 1, 2, and 3. Dave fancies himself a musician, using AI software to create, according to him, an obscene amount of material.
Yep, like 80 albums worth.
So here's 3 albums worth. I'll get to listen to this
77 more.
myself. A friend of the channel, Boris, apparently has a collection of short films, so I always like to encourage independent cinema in the collection.
And you got something that's Croatian.
Indeed, Croatian. And then, of course, a little closer to home, his own attempts at AI musicianship, the AI Assholes Taco Bell Conspiracy. Sounds intriguing. I've heard a couple of these. Both the English and Japanese versions of Puke Until My Head Twirls are quite fun. I'll look forward to eventually hearing more of this.
I don't really want to make a lot of money off of this at all because I feel it feels kind of dirty working with it, but it's also fun. And you like to share what you kind of partially create. I did all the words, and then you do a lot of arrangement and stuff with it. It's just sort of like you have to work with digital instruments because, well, I don't have regular instruments, and I'm not very skilled in that. But it's kind of fun. And Dave has his on sale, link below. And I have my 2 albums, that one and just the self-titled AI Assholes on there. A lot of it's comedy, some of it's politically motivated. So I'll warn you all on that. But most of it's comedic. And based off of things. I mean, I got some that I really like I really like Night of the Drow. That's a really good one. Of course, in that one, Drop the Soap is very funny. So, you know, some fun stuff.
Yes.
All right, so let's move on. So, one I have seen, it's an Evan Jacobs film that was crowdfunded, and that is this is not going to be on his site because it was crowdfunded. So you can buy it on SRS, and that is Amityville Backpack.
Back rooms.
Back room, sorry. Well, the other one's on there too. But back rooms, yes. I'm jumping the gun. So Amityville back rooms, for those of you who don't know, I've been living in a closet or something. The back rooms is this like exactly. It's like this kind of like extra dimensional space. People kind of fall into, and they get trapped in this thing with this ugly yellow wallpaper, and there's creatures and stuff inside, and it's there. And they kind of mixed that with Amityville, and it's all right. I did a review on it, like I do of every one of them. So you have a brief review. I don't go in depth with those, but you can catch that on my Anhedenia project if you want to know more. But it is all right. It is all right.
All right. So, now my next one is going to be an upgrade. Actually a third time upgrade, because it's a DVD upgrade of the only Johnny Depp film I had on VHS at one point. Depp, before he had his name dragged through the mud through quite a few things, some of his own creation and some arguably not, he was known as a quirky and very talented actor who was actually one of my favorites. And he's still very quirky and talented. Yeah. And a film that he did, I was actually introduced to it through its Oscar nomination, not for him, but it was a Best Actor nod for a gentleman who at the time was not well known stateside, Javier Bardem. And that is Julian Schnabel's Before Night Falls, which is about the late Cuban poet Reinaldo Arenas. Depp plays dual roles in this film, and you also had a few other interesting Michael Winkett's in there, music by Carter Burwell, pretty good assortment of talent here. This is one, I think I just picked it up really cheaply at some point. Like I said, this goes all the way back to my VHS days, and glad to finally have it on Blu-ray, which obviously takes up a lot less space than VHS, but a lot less than the DVD did as well.
Yeah, I'm actually very glad that got back into print, because it was out of print for the longest time, and the version I had before I changed it over was not very good.
This one actually has a few bonus features on it. It's kind of nice.
So I'm kind of glad. I'm looking forward to seeing that again, because I remember it being good, but I don't know if I was ready to watch it at the time. Yeah. So my newest acquisition that came in literally today is a one I threw out $20 for back when it was crowdfunding, which is Amityville VR, also by SRS, by the way. Okay. After moving into a mysterious rental house in Amityville, of course, our artificial intelligence programmer, Stuart Birdsall, encounters an evil force so vile and deadly that it kills his wife, his friends, and strips him of his sanity. But for Stuart Birdsall, the worst is yet to come. Released from a mental institution, Stuart is immediately kidnapped by federal agents. It appears that the deadly evil that infected his program has now infected government systems. Stuart is given an offer he cannot refuse. With the help of a virtual reality headset, Stuart must enter a simulation, a manufactured labyrinth of evil, populated by a nightmarish collection of demons and creatures from hell, all bent on the annihilation of the human race. He must destroy the demon in charge or die trying. It may be good. I mean, I'm not going to hold my breath, but it may be good. I mean, Amityville films are kind of a low bar for me. So, you know, it's hard to say.
You never know until you try.
Never know.
Doubt I'd like it, but you never know.
Never know.
So next one that I know is quite good is another DVD to Blu-ray conversion. So this will save a little bit of space and be a higher quality item than the one I had. I think was a previous rental copy. So it's like a full upgrade in many ways. It's a Shout Select release of a film by Sidney Lumet. Called Before the Devil Knows You're Dead, which stars the late, great Philip Seymour Hoffman, the late, great Albert Finney, along with Ethan Hawke and Marissa Tomei. You've got Rosemary Harrison there, Michael Shannon, Amy Ryan. Like I said, directed by Sidney Lumet, who he's no longer with Seagull, is he?
I don't think so.
I could be remembering that wrong.
Are you dead?
Being a Shout Select release, this does have a few bonus features. I picked this up, I have no doubt, on one of Shout's occasional sales. They typically have really good stuff. Even on sale, they're not usually dirt cheap, but it's a good opportunity to pick up good stuff at a decent price, and I snapped it up. So this has been sitting there for a while waiting to be presented. So there you go.
Well, the next on my Amityville list is another Evan Jacobs film that he did through crowdfunding called Amityville Backpack. I am briefly in this, actually. I don't think I'm in this one, but I know I'm in this one. I am in this one. I am one of the people who gets briefly run... no, wait, no, it's Stroller. No, I'm not in this one. That's Stroller Drive. We will be both in Pickleball Exorcist, which is kind of cool. But Amityville Backpack actually is still in my top 12 for the year. It's funny. It's actually about this cursed backpack, and they do a pretty good job of doing the evil backpack and how it kills people and stuff like that. And it is generally a kind of a fun horror comedy. I will say that not a lot of those ones that he did, they show that they definitely have a higher budget than the typical Anhedenia stuff, but usually they aren't necessarily as good sometimes. But this one actually holds up and has some of that Anhedenia magic to it. It is fun watching it and seeing this go. So if you haven't gotten a chance to, you should definitely watch Amityville Backpack. You can get on SRS. It is worth your time.
Good times. All right, I have another little mini theme going on. This sticks with the topic of conversions. I believe in both of these cases, these are 2 movie sets. So I'm not only converting from DVD to Blu-ray, but I'm also condensing even further, which is nice. And they're Disney pickups, probably from the last days of the Disney Movie Club. I don't remember for sure because it's been a while. And the first one is, they're the animation live action 2-packs that they've put out. And the first one is a movie where it was a brilliant film. The remake was good, but barely justifies its existence because it's almost a shot-for-shot remake. And that is Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast, of course, the animated film is a classic. It's one of the few animated features ever nominated at the Oscars for Best Feature. It is got a wonderful soundtrack, absolutely iconic soundtrack. The remake, like I said, adds almost nothing of note, but it's a very faithful remake that's very pretty to look at and does a good job. It just barely justifies its existence. But this is a nice little condensed 2-pack set. Brings together a movie I had to upgrade anyway and one I didn't mind having. Got some bonus extras with it. Given everything that's packed in here, that's pretty nice for a little bundle there.
Yeah, I've heard so many all over the place reviews of the live action Beauty and the Beast. For me, whenever I see Disney live action remake, I just roll my eyes and go, I have no desire to see this. That's why I've never watched, even though I've got it, I have yet to watch live action Jungle Book because I've heard it's decent, but I just don't really have the desire.
That one they actually brought things to it to justify its existence. They made it its own thing.
They've, some people use the W word for Beauty and the Beast, and that made me go, well, I can discount those reviews. Some people have talked about how Emma Watson was one of the best things for that film, and that her acting and singing was way better than what was in the animated. And I've had some people who say that she's horrible at singing in it. I don't really have a thing for Emma Watson, so I couldn't care one way or the other.
She's a good Belle. Is she a brilliant singer? That's debatable.
So, I enjoyed the original animated one, and I may one day. I have to have some reason. Like maybe Jake will for one of his theme months he'll do Disney live action.
I could do that.
So that he'd do it, and then I'd have a reason. I would never buy it, but I'd probably borrow his copy. But yeah, that's about as far as it would go.
Yeah.
So. Okay. One I have that I'm surprised I did not present, because I've talked about it over and over, is Amityville Apocalypse.
I'm surprised you haven't presented that either.
I think it's because you presented yours.
It could be.
So this was done by Retrosploitation, and it was originally called Nail in the Coffin. The last of the Amityville films.
Yeah, right.
Yes. So, and it has a bunch of shorts, and I mean really shorts. Shorts. I have my two first directed shorts films, which are actually fun. They're fun little ones. Amityville Estate Sale, I just particularly like. Your part in this, even though it is short, it still cracks me up when I've got the little dog going around your shoulder. And I don't know. And then I'm like, no. And
someone needs to make an Amityville Final Fantasy.
Then there's Amityville Axe, which which has appeared in other films.
Yes.
Including Amityville Webcam.
The Axe gets around.
The Axe does get, and the Amityville Axe is also going to be an Amityverse Infinity as well. So Amityville Axe, he's got like 3 credits so far. I need to create an IMDb page for the Amityville Axe.
He'll never be as big a star as Mr. Anderson,
because he's in like 4 films now. He's got a decent. But it also has some fun stuff like Amityville Spirit Box by Mark Chindemi and starring our friend Kyle, and a couple others. There's one that's also done by Evan Jacobs in here, which I think it's Amityville Outing. Yeah. Which is him walking and talking. But still not a bad one. It's got some fun parts to it.
Indeed. Yeah, a couple of those were a complete waste of the 10 or 15 seconds it took to watch them, but, other than that. So, back to my theme of the Disney two-fers. One that justified its existence a lot more, and all the more so because it was one of the first out of the gate, so it was more memorable in multiple ways, was their remake of Cinderella. Woo-hoo. So we got a nice 2-movie set here of Cinderella. Of course,
Cinderella.
Exactly. You can't. Everyone thinks bibbidi boppity boo. I always think Cinderella. Yeah. Great movie from way back in the day. The remake actually does do a decent job of modernizing it and telling the same story but slightly different. And this is like I said, it's a nice set. Good bonus features for both movies. Takes up a lot less space. I think I did actually have this one and Beauty and the Beast, the remakes. I did have on Blu-ray already, but I had the original movies on DVD. So it's kind of a safe space saver in both cases, but it would have been even more so if they were all on DVD. But this is a good, nice little slim way. And to his point, like I think on the last pickup, I think I did the Lion King that was just the Lion King, because I have zero interest in having that remake in the collection.
I've seen that one too.
But most of the remakes, if they're not taking up extra space, I don't mind having them. You know,
I debated it for some. But I think I have some of those that had just their sequels, and I compared it. And you know, the sad thing is, for the most part, I'd rather have the direct-to-video sequels than the. It's a sad day. You know, I've looked at that and it's like, I'll at least have one more pickup video with all Amityville. Yeah. But I've at least got some good Amityville movies in this one, and probably will in the next one too. Yeah. So, shout Vinegar Syndrome has actually released some of the re-released some of the Amityville films on Blu-ray, and it's just good because a lot of these were really out of print, and the copies I had were really sketchy. So I was really glad to upgrade.
I thought those looked a little fancier than your others.
Oh yeah, and they came originally in this box set, but the box set sold out.
Oh.
Eventually, I might pick up the box empty, but I don't really have money to spend like that, not frivolously anymore. Yeah. Believe it or not, though, you might see these pickup videos and go, "Man, he's buying like crazy." The likelihood is that I will probably have bought maybe one or two things in that like 5 or 6 month period, and it's going to be. But I've got so many lined up that I don't need to buy anything for like a year or two.
I've still got quite a few backed up too, and I've scaled way back.
But I think in periods, in like groups of 5 to 7, it can be smaller bits, more fun to watch, and definitely stretches it out. Yeah. Not that I need to. I can do like groups of 20. I still probably have like a year worth. But let's talk about Amityville: A New Generation. Now, this one, I don't remember. I've seen it. This is one of the ones that they did. So they did the 4 main Amityville films. And then after that, they did some spin-off films. But they were actual spin-offs of the main series. So these are still considered in the main series. These are not. So let's see here. Key's a successful photographer who lives at the border of Skid Row. While walking home one day, he notices a homeless man with a strange old mirror. Immediately struck by it for reasons he cannot explain, Keyes convinces the old man to sell it to him. However, the mirror seems to have a strange effect on all those who look at it. And it's not long before Keyes himself starts behaving increasingly erratic and unhinged ways, unaware that his actions are being controlled by evil forces lurking inside the mirror. These are not all that far removed from some of those other ones, because the 3 films here, this one, the next one I'm going to show, and one of the ones I'll show later, is all based on cursed items from Amityville. So similar to, say, Amityville Lighter from this. This one is a mirror. But the effects are really good. A lot of people kind of disparage the 3 films that I'll talk about 2 of those of. But to me, they're actually some of my favorite ones. They're weird, they're fun, and they're not boring in the slightest. And that's the biggest sin that a lot of these Amityville films can do, is that they can get boring. Especially Amityville Gas Chamber. Oh, good God. But, yes, good one. If you haven't got a chance, you can still buy them. And when they go on sale for like $10, which for a Vinegar Syndrome pickup, that's pretty cheap.
That is pretty cheap. It's one of the
not together, but yeah.
That's one of the reasons I have so little Vinegar Syndrome, is it's not usually
Well, you can see these are bare bones.
Well, yeah.
But, I mean, not bare bones, like, they got special features.
Well, yeah. But, like, they're not the really cool-looking sets, Alrighty. My last one is time for something completely different. I don't know precisely where I got this. It was probably a Crunchyroll sale. It's been sitting around for a while. We got to present at least one anime. I mean, that's just,
Well, you can.
This is one that I heard about, and the whole concept amused the hell out of me. And it got decent reviews on ANN, so I was like, okay, I had a chance to get it, and I did. And that is the series Skullface Bookseller Honda-san. which is a discotheque release. Discotheque seems to alternate between the classics and completely random new series. This falls into the latter category. It's 12 episodes, and if I recall correctly, I believe they're short episodes. This is the entire runtime is 180 minutes, so I think they're probably about 15-minute episodes. As you can probably tell from the cover, there's some weird stuff going on here. And it's basically about a guy who works in a bookstore who happens to be a skeleton. And it looks fun. It looks very amusing. I haven't seen it yet, but I look forward to one day cracking this one open.
I've read some of it, but I haven't seen it. But yeah, it's kind of fun. But yeah, actually what's funny is that on the 20th, other people were doing other things, but me, I was actually looking at the discotheque announcements. So, and there were some fun things.
Oh, they just put out some announcements?
Yeah, they put out announcements on the 20th.
And see what they got coming out.
Yeah, so that was actually quite fun. I enjoyed that. That's probably the highlight of my day.
Oh, very good. I wish I'd known about that. I would have.
They had some live action and animation offerings that are definitely coming out. Nothing that I went going, oh my god, but nothing on my wish list. Some fun stuff. Matter of fact, I think they did put one of the ones I thought was kind of cool is that they've got the original Osamatsu series, and they're releasing that in its entirety. Which that one actually is going to be on my list to get because I do want that. Alright, last but not least for me, Amityville 1992, or Amityville It's About Time.
Oh, the original Cutie Honey. Huh?
So remember when I talked about cursed items, this time it was a cursed clock. It's not my favorite of the three. My favorite of the three I'm not actually presenting today, but it's still very cool. I love the clock effects. Again, the effects budgets are very good for these, and they're weird, but they are fun. I mean, fun, weird horror, almost like, well, you've seen House with, Norm and all that. So it's kind of those are kind of in those veins, almost like House and Poltergeist wrapped up. And that to me is fine. I actually really like that. I wish they had done more like this. But I guess,
Oh, they're doing
wasn't
a
the
release
time.
of Kamikaze
Yeah,
Girls?
they're doing Kamikaze
Nice.
Girls live action, which...
and Handmaid May? Alright.
I am your best friend and most hated enemy.
Yes, that's a classic.
But that is everything that we have so far from here. Of course, if you like this, hit that subscribe, share, and comment. Tell me what you've picked up recently. What's fun? Do you have any thoughts on Amityville stuff? Is there an Amityville film that you're looking forward to, or one that you saw in the new stuff that you were like, yeah, this was so good?
Right.
And just let me know in the comments below. And if I have to, I'll tell Jake about it. He'll respond. But with that being said, we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.